Hello, my friends. I am Alphinius Goo, and you are in the Gooey Cube at Gooey University for our stream that we do on every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, which some people call Gooey Time, here on Twitch TV/The Gooey Cube. We'd appreciate it if you tell your friends about it. We're going to really try to make this thing special, interesting, valuable, and fun. That's what we're going for, right, Camera Mandy?
Absolutely.
Say hello to everybody, Camera Mandy.
Hello, everyone. If you guys want to tell us in the comments how all the audio is sounding and how good Alphinius is doing or not good on most occasions, that is totally fine.
Camera Mandy, you're impertinent. Anyway, yes, you actually sounded great. That hello was, you're really starting to improve on that, your enunciation and your enthusiasm. And oh my goodness, Camera Mandy, I can't sound good because the damn little microphone fell down, right? So I'm fixing it right now. Fortunately, I noticed it.
Everyone.
How does that sound?
Alphinius's mic had fallen down.
How does that sound?
It sounds great.
Yes, okay, let us go on. All right, my friends, it's a fun show today. We've got Gooey Lawrence is going to be here. He's going to talk with me about running more of a Gooey game, right? And how do you use the handouts and how to use the portraits and all that kind of stuff. So this is actually a little bit of GM tips on top of the GM tips that we normally do, and I think you'll find it quite valuable. We're also going to go through some monsters. We're going to look at some locations, and I just want everybody to know we put a poll up in the Gooey Den about this show, this stream, and we would really appreciate it if you would go in there and give us your thoughts, vote for the things that you think you'd like to see the most, and help us to really make this thing something that you will enjoy and that your friends will enjoy and all kinds of stuff. So we're also, we got, goodness gracious, man, we got a lot to talk about, right? We're going to mention West Verdestia again, which is just going out. We're going to talk about the Marvelous Chapter 4, which I guess we're going to show you a trailer, right, Camera Mandy? We're going to show the little trailer for Chapter 4.
We will, again, show the trailer for Chapter 4.
Nice.
Because we do like that trailer.
Yes, it's great. And I know we showed it before, but people like it, and I think people will enjoy seeing it. And remember, some viewers didn't get to see it before, right? So
it will also create a seamless transition between Alphinius sitting at the desk alone and Alphinius sitting at the desk with Lawrence.
I shall snap my fingers and Lawrence shall appear. Yes,
amazing.
This is what we shall do. Yes.
The magic of filmmaking.
We're also going to show James Karras's marvelous table, right? So we're going to do that. We're going to do some reading. We're going to have the Ventenium Alanax, and I actually want to read a poem that I have not read for a long, long time. That is actually at the beginning of the marvelous Cyclopedia Zyathé Volume 1. So we'll give a Kickstarter update. We haven't put the new submission thing up yet, and there's a reason for that, so I'll explain that a little bit. There's a whole host of things that are happening, and you're going to start throwing some stuff up from the Gooey Den as well, correct, cameraman?
Yeah, let's actually go ahead and start with that.
All right, ready when you are. So this is a segment we're looking at that we think people might like, is we're going to start taking some things from the Gooey Den and putting them up in here and having people be able to see what other people did and post. And this is James' table, right? That's what we're showing here, cameraman?
Yes, so basically James put this up in the Gooey Den, and I just thought it was an absolutely incredible setup that really was kind of an immersive way to involve their players. So they have TV on the table. Oh, check this out. So here's like a picture of, they loaded up our maps into the TV here, and so they're using it as a grid. And I know that this concept's been out there, but I just think it's a great idea for, again, immersing your players and creating something really special with our maps.
Well, and also we've been having wonderful people post their game rooms and such like that in the Den, which is always fun for people to see. I think Scott just did one recently, and that was totally cool. But James has shown us this, and I think James is in Tokyo for the Olympics or something like that. So I'm not even sure he's seeing this right now. But James is fantastic.
It is, and really. I love the projector up on the wall that projects the images. And
yes.
Again, this kind of ties back into how to run a Gooey game, which we'll talk about with Lawrence later. But I just think that this was a really special setup. I'm really glad that James shared it with us.
Yes, and as we've said many times, there's not one way to run a game, right? There's the game that you like to run as a game master, and the type of accoutrements that you want to bring to the table that your players like, right? So whether it be a TV or a battle map that you just draw on, or a bunch of dominoes or whatever it happens to be, or if you're like me, I love all that wonderful Dwarven Forge stuff and terrain pieces and all that craziness. I just have loved that ever since I was a kid. So.
And some people just like playing with like a piece of paper.
Absolutely.
So everyone's different, but I think that Gooey Cube definitely is a very special gaming experience.
Well, thank you, Cameramandy. I agree with you. I think that is absolutely true. All right. So what do you want to do next? You want to talk about these creatures from...
Yeah, we have a couple of things from Gooey Cube that we're going to show off.
And then we'll do the reading after that, right? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
All right. So this, my friends, this is the Dark Huntsman. And as many of you have seen, if you've been paying attention in the Discord channel or in the Gooey Den, we are starting to post an awful lot of monsters. Quite a few of them that have been created by our wonderful Gooey friends and put in as submissions. And as you know, the reward that we are making, which is, I think, pretty special, is if your submission is accepted, we're going to make a piece of artwork of your monster, and we're going to take that monster and have it blown up, and it'll be signed and limited edition, one of one. Although we'll probably send you two of them so that you have a second in case something happens to the first. But I think that's a wonderful reward for a submission. You know, we're typically paying anywhere from $100 to $200 to even $300 for some of these wonderful artworks. And so we're going through monsters that are not just necessarily submitted monsters, but also monsters that Gooey Cube has, or perhaps some of the contributing authors made in the Westward or whatever. So the Dark Huntsman is actually part of sort of fairy lore, and this is taken from fairy lore in other places of the world. And so the Dark Huntsman runs the wild hunt, which chases poor mortals like us, right, all over the place, and creates all kinds of consternation and problems. And typically it is done by the unseelie fairy, and it is part of their capricious nature, right? So the Dark Huntsman, though, is more fearful than that, because he can actually do quite terrible things. So he's a summoned being, I believe. We're still talking through some of how we're going to have the huntsman appear, or huntsman be, but we're pretty excited. I hope you love the artwork. Cameraman, are people telling you they enjoy that artwork?
They are. They say, someone says, The Wy'rded Hunt is an awesome title.
I like that.
Yeah, that is a great. Okay. And Nerf Herder wants to know, are you signing your own monster submissions, Alphinius?
So I have a number of monsters. I've put in, some ones that I really enjoy. And we're trying to make more ecologically sound Zyathé, which is the Underdelve, right? We're trying to make it ecologically sound and make sense. So we have different creatures that feed upon different creatures, and we've got an established thing about how cave farms and the prolificness of their growth of fungi and lichens and underdelven plant structures and those kinds of things. So we're trying to make all that stuff make sense, and some of those are creatures that I have brought forth. If you know, there are these wonderful. I'm not talking about that. We're going to talk about this castle. Now, I need to check my notes. So, cameraman, go to this castle. Let me just take a peek at this, because this was kind of an interesting thing that happened here. So, I posted this castle just because I wanted folks to see it, done by one of our marvelous artists. And this I said, I created some lore that was just made up on the spur of the moment. So I said, there is a castle in the Gluvoic fiefdom in the sovereignty of Vanzentia known as Castle Velzenzach. And much rumor and mystery surrounds said locality. And I asked people to just throw up a little idea or a concept or something like that. And of course, marvelous Corey did a lot of the contributing authorship for Vanzentia. I mean, like a lot, right? And it's really good. And its relationship with the Valandian Empire and the relationship with Donvan, and how sort of the Vanzentian people fit into East Verdestia. And so all of a sudden this thread kind of grew, and now this place between Joshua and Corey, I think, is going to have some very interesting and fun lore that they sort of just came up with in at the spur of the moment in the Gooey Den. So I hope you love this artwork. I mean, it's just spectacular and stunning, and I really like it quite a bit. So that's the tale of that one.
Yeah. So we have a suggestion to bring some of the artists onto the show.
So we could do that, and I'm not opposed to it. Part of I think you all know now at this point, if you've been hanging around long enough, part of our mission is to help writers and artists to be able to have opportunities that they might not otherwise get. And we have worked with some artists who are very established, but we've also worked with some artists who really have not had their break, so to speak, right? I remember going through ArtStation and looking at art portfolios there and DeviantArt and other places, and seeing artworks that I thought were quite magnificent and not seeing a single commercial opportunity for some of these artists. And so we would reach out to them and say, hey, listen, would you like to try something? And we have had some marvelous interactions and given folks who really might not have gotten the chance. And some of those folks have gone on to work at studios. Some of those folks have gone on to bigger things. I mean, working with some very big companies and all that kind of stuff. And I'm proud to say that we helped those folks sort of on their way in their careers. And so that's also our hope for people who want to write more professionally, that we give them the opportunity to be able to create content in some of our materials. And of course, once you're published once, that helps you to be published twice. So I know there's a lot of you out there that's not really what you want to do. What you want to do is just help create the world, and that's marvelous too, right? And so for those folks, we're going to try to create these wonderful rewards and not make these contributions too onerous. And for those who want to do more and where we have the opportunity and the situation arises for you, we're going to try to give you a chance to write some stuff. So that's the whole thing. So maybe we will see if we can bring an artist or two on the show in the future. I appreciate this suggestion. It's fantastic.
We actually got a really great suggestion from Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
Yeah. So she says we need an art book, and I think that'd be really beautiful.
That's a great idea.
That is a really great idea.
Yeah, you're right, Carrie. Maybe we can do a coffee table type thing, and maybe we can see if enough people in the Gooey Den want to do it. We can produce that thing since we already have the artworks. So if we get enough Goo people to at least give it enough support that it doesn't cost us money, right? We can maybe get everybody a coffee table book, and I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Well, Phoenix Prime says Kickstarter. Big Kickstarter project.
Yeah, listen, I just want to get through the current Kickstarter project. By the way, I know we got another artwork, but I'm just going to jump into this real quick, Camera Mendy. So I know everybody has been seeing in the Gooey Den and in Discord that Marvelous L and Marvelous Ali are, and with some help from Riley, you got to give him a little love too, and certainly our wonderful partner Alex, who does a lot of the production for us, are fulfilling the Kickstarter sort of in this interim shipment that was never planned, and we didn't charge for it, and I hope folks are appreciating it. If you ordered Chapter 4, if you ordered the map pack for the West Verdestia tome, if you ordered the West Verdestia tome, Gooey Dice, T-shirts, there might be a couple of other items, you're probably getting a package here. And so we've had some great feedback. Some folks have already seen the West Verdestia tome. It's actually right here, and it's just so wonderful. And there's a number of our people who worked on this. Marvelous Jim Kenny and Magdra Nog, Alexander with the Vile Desolation. Carrie, of course, did so much work in their fairy lore and all kinds of stuff. Marvelous Casey did the Netherlands, which is just a amazing and really scary place. Christy and Michelle collaborated on the Blue Shine Archipelago, and it's quite amazing. And then, of course, AJ and me, we put together some things here and there, and ended up with the Shadelands and a number of other places. We also had folks who just put in places, right? Like Chris, Marvelous Chris gave us some things, Ben gave us some things. So it was really wonderful. Jen's helped us. I mean, there's a lot of folks. So if I missed you, don't feel badly. It's just the old man trying to remember stuff, right? But it is amazing tome, and the lore is fantastic. And it's definitely going to take you some time to get through it, right? But take it one bite at a time. You want to learn about the Republic? Read about the Republic. You want to learn about the Vile Desolation? Read about the Vile Desolation. And the map that comes with it is spectacular, and we're very excited to put it into people's hands. So, okay, Camera Mendy, the next piece of art, yes?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is Marvelous Keyshore, who's doing some wonderful work for us, and this is one of our gnomes, and since we are working on Magicka, and we have a wonderful little team working on Magicka, we wanted to do illustrations of people doing magic, right? And we didn't want them just to be, sort of elves and humans, so we wanted to try to get some others in there. So we've got some dwarves and we've got some gnomes, and we're going to have, flowcasters from the Sarth, and we're going to have stone singers from the Garund and others like that. So this is a gnome in a dungeon, a wizardly gnome. I did not tell the artist to put that damn hat on him, but he did.
Wizards wear hats.
No, they do not.
They do.
Doctor Strange.
They do. Okay, why are there numbers coming off of the magic?
What do you mean numbers coming off of the
There's
magic?
like magic. There's like numbers on there.
That's kind of the rune thing that's going on, right? So
I
he's got
see.
this. Listen, to the artists, I really try to just give them sort of a feel. I've been art directing a lot of people for a long time, in the real world, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. He's never art directed me ever.
Camera Mandy. No, Mandy and I have been working together almost 12 years, right, Mandy? Is how long?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, Mandy is my goddaughter, and I actually held her when she was just a little babe with her little head right here and the rest of her here. And she pooped in her diaper. It was disgusting. Oh my God.
This is taking a turn. Okay.
Anyway, so we try to give the artists some room to move, right? Because artists really shine more when they have the chance to be able to just sing a little bit and have it be their work rather than you try to tell them every little thing that needs to be in there. And so that is something that we do philosophically on virtually every piece. We have to do a little art direction here and there, but by and large, we really let artists be artists. All right, Camera Mendy, what's next?
Okay, so we have one question that I think is a fair one in the chat, which is basically people are asking for a phonetically sounded dictionary
Yes.
and I think that is very fair, and it has been on the list of things for us to do for like 2 years
it's not
now.
just that. So, Camera Mendy, let me do this real quick because I want people. I just have to find the link so I can help you with it. So, if you go to. Goodness, it's on the website, but it's hard to find, and I need to figure out how to do it. We did do. I've got it right here in front of me. In fact, I'll show you on my tome. Yes, you see this? You see the Zyathé? You see that, Camera Mendy?
It's a magic tome.
Yeah, it's a magic tome.
Magic tome.
Right. So this is actually the start of our glossary, and we have not updated it since the beginning of 2020. The COVID thing and the Kickstarter and all that stuff. But it actually does have quite a bit of stuff in there, and Allie has been sort of our scribe, and she's been taking notes of all these many new words and things so that we can have that, and it is definitely on our list. And just know, my friends, that this little company, with the 5 of us in a phone booth, so to speak, we are doing as much as we possibly can. But it is a great question. It is something we have to do. And maybe when I talk to Gooey Lawrence later, maybe he'd help us out with that. Maybe it's something he'd jump on, right? Help us with he's shaking his head.
He doesn't know how to pronounce the words either.
Yeah, that's true, right? Aruna Sundra, right? So the proper name of the Marunic folk.
Okay, we can answer this one question about it though. So how do you pronounce the apostrophes in the words? And I have learned, because I said Wy'rded World once, and Alphinius got on me, and so it's like Wy'rded World.
So people have asked about this. I'll do it real fast because I don't want to bore you. But in the beginning, the whole genesis of that apostrophe began with how much I wanted to call it the Wy'rded World. But the problem is that the weirded thing is out there. There's Marvelous Dune and so many wonderful references to just weirded that I kind of felt like it needed something special. And so we did all these different spellings of weird and did all this different stuff. And I just happened to put an apostrophe in and showed it to people. And they said, what does that mean? How does that work? And I said, well, maybe in Zyathé, they have this pause that they tend to put in between words. So Wy'rded World, right? And all of a sudden, people got kind of excited about that, and we started dancing with the double vowels, and the double vowels that are double vowel just without the apostrophe, and then the double vowels that have the apostrophe. And basically, if it is a single word that has an apostrophe, it just has that little tiny pause, right? So not Mouzdaran, but Mu'uzdaran, right? So it's got that little pause, and a lot of people have said they like it, because it gives a little bit of uniqueness, but doesn't make you go crazy, trying to figure out JR, that guy. I probably shouldn't say his name. Anyway.
You can say the name.
All right, yes, the Tolkien, right? One of the wonderful things that Tolkien did, right? But people were like, wow, I can't master this language, right? All that stuff, yes?
Sorry, I laughed because someone put in the comments, awesome. Awesome.
Awesome, yes. Well, there's all kind of, this apostrophe thing has gotten a little out of control, like the hat thing, so.
I don't know. I think the hat thing is legit and a good idea. Okay, it is time for our Wy'rded World. Sorry,
we want to do the reading, right?
Yes,
our
reading.
World. Yes, before we do that, there's a couple of quick shout-outs I want to make sure that I do, right? So there is a wonderful group that is meeting that I don't know if people know about, and it's on Saturday mornings. It's at 9 o'clock. And they really are, Kaya and Jens and James are sort of heading this thing up, with Kaya sort of in the lead. And they really are doing a marvelous thing in terms of taking their time to try to help people to write better. And I would encourage you that if you're trying to be a better writer, that you try to attend those when you can. First of all, because they're free, right? So people are taking their time to look up things like, building a character or sentence structure or how to write a great description or how to do dialogue and these kinds of things. And you don't have to pay for it. It's not like you have to go get a course. And it's also interactive, so people are asking questions and talking and answering questions and looking at people's works and all that kind of stuff. So this is the writers group, and it meets in the Discord. So I want to do that. And then also I just want to give a shout out to the folks who are really working hard to try to make Gen Con something special for all of our Gooey friends, as well as for all the people who are coming. Casey and Alexander have really been pushing hard to try to make something special here for us and for all of you. And now Harry is stepping up and he's helping out. And we have all these marvelous GMs. And I need to name you all, but I can't do that right now. But I need to name you all because I got to tell you that we got feedback from the last time we did this game mastering thing from our game masters who volunteered and did all this stuff for people, and incredible positivity from people who played in their games. So all of you game masters, truly marvelous, and thank you all for working on this Gen Con thing. I think Corey's stepping in there too, and I know of course Elle and Ali they're trying to help, and Mandy and then of course the entire team. So thank you for being a part of that and helping make that happen. Yes, it's marvelous. All right. So and then I'm really excited for the Essenverd tome and how it's coming together, and the group that put all that stuff together. I think you're going to be blown away. We're starting to work on the maps, and so we'll have some updates on that as we go forward. All right. So, Cameramandi, we want to do this reading of the Ventenium Alunax. Is that correct?
Yes, but it is already 10:23.
Wow.
Time has flown. So I would say let's just do the poem and then leave the rest of the reading for the next week.
So I will do that. Just so everyone knows, right, remember what happened was there was the battle between the gods of evil and the gods of good and the gods of neutrality, the gods of evil being bolstered by the fearful power of the Netherflow, which at the end of that chapter it said, for the gods of evil had been deceived. And we'll find out about why they were deceived and how they were deceived in the next chapter. So I'll do this poem. So if you have the Cyclopedia Zyathé, Volume 1, which is the Wy'rded World, right? There's a poem at the beginning of this, and it is a prophecy, and it is, I think, quite marvelous. The prophet Budno is well known in the world of Zyathé for knowing things that were to come, and Budno wrote many things, and this is one of his prophecies. The sickness seeps like a dead man's blood to foul the riven land, ne'er shall be cleansed evermore, corruption's taloned hand. The races play their foolish games, not hearing death knells toll. They know not that of what they do, while evil kills the soul. The taint spreads in the farthest depths to weaken all therein. The stone doth weep its woeful cry, such filled with living sin. The flow still festers, noxious runs. A lie is purified. Cracks doth mark the Never's walls to free those trapped inside. Whence comes the end of all things made? will any stand and fight? When darkest dreams doth come to all, shall come the fearful night. The horn shall sound with no retort, destroying one and all. When the abomination finds the sight, then comes Unmaker's call. But there remains in outcast words a secret in a rhyme. What shall then be in fortune's hand, come horror's bleakest time? That is the vision of them by the prophet Budno.
Anyone else got goosebumps? Occasionally you impress me, Alphinius.
Thank you, Cameramendi. You are dear and marvelous, and I appreciate you, except for your hatter friends and all of that craziness that's going on. All right, so we're going to hang out with Lawrence for a little bit here, or are we going to do gods, or what are we going to do?
I think we should do our gods. I think we'll leave the My Rune until next week, though.
That's fine. Yes, absolutely. Because we got a lot to do. So part of this thing is we want to talk about gods. Again, please go to the Gooey Den and please give us feedback on this and what you'd like to have us do. Because it's a lot of work on camera, Mandy, and I kind of show up and sweat in here, quite a bit. After all this stuff, right? And we want to make sure people like it and people enjoy it and it's worthwhile. So please give us some feedback and thoughts how we can make this really special for you and for all of our Gooey friends. Okay. So whenever you're ready, Camera Mandy.
Okay.
So Evrodonn is the great smith and is very favored amongst the dwarven folk, and in particular actually was one of the patrons, the main patron of the stout people, right? Those folks. So Evrodonn is a wonderful part of the pantheon of the lawful good gods, and the symbol is what they call the anvil sun. And now, just real quickly before we jump on that, I mentioned this before, but the pantheon of Zyathé is really a multi-god pantheon, right? It is polytheistic, not monotheistic. And so when you encounter chapter 1 and you meet Anton, who's the priest of the Hanataz, of the Blue Veil, well, Anton is not just got one symbol. There's multiple symbols that are arrayed. And so, for example, if you had a paladin of Radean, for example, right, the god of the morning, right, the sort of the leader of the lawful good gods, right, and Radean we'll talk about in a minute. But if you have a paladin of Radean, that paladin of Radean would get on her knee as quickly as possible for Evrodonn or Evoke or others, just as well as they would do for Radean. So this is the idea that it is not sort of just one god that they sort of acknowledge. Indeed, the people of Zyathé acknowledge them all. Right, and even if you are a good person, you're acknowledging neutral and evil gods, and even if you're an evil person, you acknowledge good and neutral gods. And there are certain times where people really of evil bent might give homage to a neutral or a good god, and vice versa. So you have to think of polytheism. It's a little different than maybe what you've been playing in other places, but I think it is much more realistic and much more fun, right, to dance this dance. So anyway, so Evrodonn, you showed that marvelous. This was Igor who did these wonderful things, and Evrodonn, that one you just saw was the real symbol, right, that appears in the books and such. And when we do the Cyclopedia Religica, and that's just a temporary title, we aren't sure what we're going to do, we'll have all the symbols in there and a lot of information, and of course we'll start talking about what egalitons are and what agents of churches are and all that kind of stuff. And
this appears on the crown of the dwarf people?
Some of them, yes. Yeah. It can be a symbol worn around their neck. It could be, now many people, they have like their main god that they sort of lean towards the most, perhaps, but they might have 7 or 8 symbols on a chain around their neck, right? So this is the idea of this polytheistic circumstance.
Very cool. Okay, so here's Radean.
Yes, and Radean is the light bringer and sort of the leader of the gods of law and goodness. And of course, Radean was not the original god of law and goodness. There's a tale about that, but I'm not going to read it. Not going to talk about it because I've been reading it, right? But Radean is marvelous, and and we are excited to sort of profile these gods as we go forward.
Okay, then we have some monsters.
Yes.
That we promised we talk about.
Now, listen, I'm not talking stats on monsters, right? We're all going to have to wait until we get this Cyclopedia of the Monstrica for the Westward, because we're going to do a Monstrica volume for each one of the major continents, because we really want to have unique monsters and unique creatures in unique continents like they are in our real world. So we think that'll be a lot of fun for people to be able to travel to a new continent and not just find the same dang monsters they found in the continent they just left, right? So go ahead and put this one up, Mandy. So this is the Night Grappler, and Jim submitted this. We did mess with it a little bit with his permission. We made some adjustments and some changes, but these things are quite scary, because not only will they bite your face, right? They won't just bite your face. They will also kind of grab you and try to suffocate you and try to keep you from being able to move your arms or your legs. And you know, a pack of a few of these will probably give your player characters a bit of a harrowing experience, so to speak. All right.
Okay, and then next up we have, this one.
Yes, so the Corpse Wasp. This is really a fabulous monster that was submitted to us, and this has got a multifaceted thing if it comes together the way we think it's going to come together, which is this Corpse Wasp is not just these creepy bugs that come flying out that you know, are sort of necrotic and all that kind of stuff, but even the corpse itself that the wasp has sort of animated is going to be a problem as well if everything goes the way we think it's going to go. So this is a really fun. I got a lot of likes from people in the Gooey Den when we showed it, and it's pretty terrifying, honestly. You know, when you look at that dang thing, you know, you think, oh my goodness, you know, we don't want a swarm of those things coming at us, you know. So I think your player characters. Just another marvelous creature to be able to
how do
go
you
against.
Even fight against that? Like, you
cleanse with fire.
I guess if you have my goodness. Well, I play mostly like Rangers with arrows. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
You better get a fly swatter.
Yeah, exactly. Put a fly swatter in your arsenal. Yes, I know fireball. Okay. Okay.
I hope you all are having fun with us. I hope this is an enjoyable stream to watch. We're really going to try to make it great for you all, I promise.
Yes.
All right, what you got, Camera Mandy?
Okay, so we are going to play the Dreadmist Curse trailer, and then we come back. Lawrence will be in the studio with us.
So before we go to this, I just want to say that Camera Mandy believes this is her greatest of the 4 trailers that she's done so far. It is magnificent, and I must admit that it is magnificent. But I can't necessarily say that it's the best. But this is the trailer for Chapter 4, and since we're shipping people Chapter 4 right now, and some people may not have seen it, we're going to play it for you. I've seen it about 50 times, and I don't get tired of it. So enjoy this one, my friends. All right. Hello, my friends. Gooey Lawrence. Say hello, Gooey Lawrence.
What's up?
Ooh.
Oh, that's you better turn down the volume, Camera Mandy. Camera Mandy.
So many things are happening with the volume, I feel.
Ears. You see that, right?
Sorry, guys, if that was very loud all of a sudden.
One of the things when I put up this poll in the den, what we saw. By the way, Mark, Harry, haha. When I put up this marvelous poll in the den, one of the things that people did seem to be starting to vote for quite a bit was talking to members of our Gooey community and all the stuff that they do and all the things they're excited about. So Lawrence is one of our marvelous streamers. We had James on a little bit before, and we obviously have other streamers as well. We got wonderful Dan and Roll Hit Die. We've got Ben out there in Germany, Ben, yay! And we've got Elias down there in Central America, doing a wonderful thing down there. We've got goodness gracious, I don't want to forget anybody. Anyway,
James, did you say James?
James I already talked about. Yeah, we got the Misfits. I can't remember if I'm forgetting someone. Goodness gracious, if I forgot him, you tell me, and I'll do a special shout out next time, right? So Lawrence, you began this wonderful thing. Yeah, can I do this, camera Mendy, so I can look at Lawrence, right? Just looking at the camera thing is bugging me when I'm trying to talk to him, right? This just seems weird.
Well,
right?
I switched over to
the side camera.
The side camera.
All right,
so there
perfect.
we go.
Yeah, perfect. So.
Everyone gets to see our dragon right now. No one ever gets to see our dragon that's in the corner.
Isn't that thing wonderful? Yeah, it's like, man, you found that right? You found that?
We actually set up the studio almost exactly 2 years ago because I keep getting all the 2-year notifications.
Yeah, nice. Wow. Yeah, it's really, one of these days we should probably have David come in here and do kind of a little tour thing, right? And to be able to see all
that would be a cool
interesting
intro.
things. Well, we got so many things from our Gooey people in here too, which is really fun. Michelle, aha! So anyway, tell me a little bit. You started this stream, right? Just for fun, right? Just for fun, and you're getting kind of popular, right? You got quite a few, reasonably popular, right? You're not like those other people, but the roles that's critical or something like that, right? But just a good little stream.
Yeah. So plugged in with the Gooey community and stuff here. We knew that we were going to be doing a lot of streams, but a lot of us didn't have any experience with it. So I went ahead and I started up my own personal stream so I could help work out some of the bumps and bruises. And I had a few acting friends from when I was younger, so I kind of pulled them all in and we started streaming. We've been doing it for, again, a little bit over 2 years or so. And we've had a couple of little bumps and stuff like that. I had a business trip I had to take for about 5 months here that I just got back from.
Everybody knows about the business trip, yes.
But we just got restarted back up. We're at the tail end of chapter 2. I've read through chapter 3, and so we're really looking forward to taking it in.
So one of the things that we've gotten a lot of comments from people who are streaming is that Gooey Cube helps because of the handouts. Because so people who are watching aren't just sitting there watching people talk all the time. They get to actually see things, right? So,
100%.
So how do you do that? Do you load them up? And by the way, just real quick, camera Mandy, I'll look over here.
Wait, I'm not cut to that camera.
Oh, you're not cut. You're on that camera. Whichever. I don't listen. Hello. So we are actually going to do a how do you do a stream segment. And we're going to get all of our streamers, Dan on here and James, and hopefully Ben will be able to join us from Germany, and hopefully Elias will come on. And if goodness gracious, if I'm forgetting somebody, I hope not. But am I forgetting someone? I don't think I am. Anyway, we're going to get them on.
Dan.
I got Dan.
Okay.
Hi, Dan. So we're going to get them all on and do a segment on how to set up a stream, kind of equipment and all this kind of stuff that I think you're going to really love. And we'll have Lawrence there too for that. So I think it'll be really fun. All right. So when you set up when you're doing the streaming thing, right? So you show them the pictures, you get a lot of feedback on that.
Yes, so there's a couple of ways to do it. It's one of the easiest ways. Gooey Casey did so much work in Roll20. And it does make it so easy to share all the handouts. Me personally, I use a program called Fast Stone Image Viewer.
What's it called? Fast
Stone Image Viewer.
Okay.
Also, when I play or when I stream, I have 5 screens in front of me that I run it all. I'm a huge tech guy. So let me just caveat that with that one of the reasons I can run it the way I do is because I'm almost blinded from the amount of light that I get.
But you're always well lit in the stream, right? So
yes.
you have the right light on your face. Yes.
So I have, mostly because I have camera Mandy that I get to call up and be like, hey, I need help, please.
Hey, camera Mandy, do you happen to have Lawrence's portrait around here anywhere?
I do actually have it. I just need to load it up.
So just load it up while we're talking
second.
because I want to talk. This is another thing that I want to ask people about in terms of the stream going forward. Okay, keep going. So,
But I like using that program for the sole reason that it comes out in a grid, so I actually can see all of it, almost like in PowerPoint,
Yes.
and I can just select the exact image that I want. So that's what I
Yes.
personally use.
well, and a lot of people, they like to print out the maps in 1 to 5, right? So they
Yep.
actually lay the maps on the table in pieces or whatever, like that kind of stuff. But you do that electronically using the Roll20 stuff. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, and I should say my stream is completely online. There's obviously multiple different ways to do streams. Some people do it all in person. Some people do a mixture of people online and stuff. My folks are all stretched out, so we do it completely online.
Got it. And of course, you know me, I'm miniature crazy, right?
Oh, yeah.
So yes, Snagita! Ha-ha! Snagita! Yes, no, miniature crazy. That's you, Harry. So I'm miniature crazy out here, and I like to build terrain and, and have the people do that, you know. And online is okay for me, but it's not. It's not the end all, you know.
I think the general consensus is there's nothing that beats the terrain, the minis, being together, but there's something great about being 1 a.m. and the only travel I have to do is from my office to the bedroom rather than the 45
Especially
minutes.
after the third scotch, right?
yeah.
So something like that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been able to play with women who had young kids or that were
Yes.
pregnant that were able to play online that they couldn't do it otherwise. So I think it's just it's completely dependent on your group dynamic and stuff.
Well, and I'll be able to, I mean, literally, you know, I think about this sometimes, you know, that marvelous Tyrone out there in Holland and wonderful Ben and so really people in the EU, you know, there's no way I'm sitting down at the table ever, you know, with them unless
Right.
they travel here or we travel there, right? And to have a chance to sit down with those folks and just enjoy them and be able to play with them is also a special
100%,
experience.
100%.
Yeah. So tell me about your group a little bit. Just tell us about the Misfits.
So
Not the Misfits.
Sorry, not the Misfits. The
Uncanny
Pros. The Uncanny Pros. And, you know, I'm doing my best here. You know, this is just, there's only so much gray matter to go around right now. Right now, it is in the Essenverd, right? That's where all the gray matter is right now. Anyway, and thank you, Kaya. Thank you, Josh. You're helping me immeasurably, and all you marvelous people who put these wonderful things together. You're going to love the Essenverd. You're going to love the Wastes. You're going to hate the Valandians.
You guys, I
Hate-
just love how Kim just gets so
Kim?
distracted. Sorry,
Kim
Alphinius.
who? Kim
Alphinius.
who is Kim?
It's Lawrence. Let's tell
Listen,
us about the
let me tell
Uncanny
you about
Pros.
Kim. You know, let me tell you,
Yeah.
he's not nearly as fun as Alphinius.
Oh, my goodness.
But so we go back to Alphinius.
Alphinius.
So,
Sorry.
So the player that probably needs the least amount of introduction is Gooey L.
she's so marvelous.
She probably plays more Dungeons and Dragons than anybody I have met. Just multiple groups, DMing, GMing. She's the type of player that when I'm at a table with as a player, I want her to be on my team, 100%. One of my other players, his name is Will.
Can I just say something real quick before
Oh,
you
yeah,
go
of
to L? Before you go past L, so Mike, you know, obviously you and Mike
Yeah.
played with me for many years, and Mike basically said the same thing. He said if I was doing a draft,
Yeah.
right, I'm going to do a draft. I got a bunch of players standing right there, and L is in the draft. She's like my Michael Jordan. Can I say
100%.
his name too, Mandy? Is that okay?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, I just want to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong.
You're not
right?
doing anything wrong.
So L. So keep going.
100%. Other good friend Will, him and I actually deployed in 2019 together. We had our own secret D&D group that we just met in my room, and we played from like 10 p.m. to like 5 a.m. Did the old school grid paper that we'd play with. He's been playing almost as long as you have. So he's our old grognard that we have on the stream together. And then I have...
Now, you know how gooey grognards are. This is very important because because grognard can have kind of a bad connotation, right? But we did this shirt, and we have gooey grognards who are different, right, Mandy? Because they're like welcoming and kind and only grumpy sometimes, right, or something like that, right? All right, keep going.
Chloe is actually up in Denver.
Marvelous. I love
She's
Chloe,
absolutely marvelous. She's working on, she wants to be a stage producer at some point. So she has a ton of theatrical experience, just along with her good friend Dylan.
Yes.
Who's also up in Denver. Him and I were in musical theater together. The Pajama
Yes, I
Gang,
saw
all kinds of
I
stuff.
saw Lawrence in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Yes, I didn't know they made them in your size.
You'd be surprised. I make them look good though. That's the key. And then my last player is Dan out in California. He's actually pursuing an acting career. So
so it's great because you got people who are a little more willing. And what I said about the Game Master tip, the first Game Master tip, my friends, truly, don't be afraid to get out of your chair, be a little effusive, act a little bit, put that out there because it does give energy to your players. Now again, if that's not for you and it's not for your table, I'm not throwing shade. It's not something it's like this is the rule, right? I had a wonderful chat with Harry, and that was something that he wanted to make sure that I was clear about. That Alphinius has got some ideas about how to run games, right? And you have ideas about how to run games, and lots of us have ideas how to run games. There's people all over the internet with ideas about how to run games, and some of them are not very nice. Some of them say like this is the way or you suck, right? That is so wrong.
But that's why we're doing the show, is because we get lots of different perspectives, and it's brilliant. So
yes, well, like Harry, Harry said, my foundation is in war games, right? And so he really, the grid and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm very lax about that kind of crap because in my mind you're all jumping around and going here and there, and so it's just different, right? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, keep going. So
that's my cast.
That's the whole cast. All right, that's the whole cast.
Let's show his portrait here.
All right, so Lawrence is growing his beard. Wait, go back, cameraman, real quick. He's growing his beard because he wants to try to cosplay this thing.
And because I'm on leave for 2 weeks.
That's all, and I'm leave for 2 weeks. So go ahead.
In 2 weeks' time, his beard will be this
exactly.
This thick.
Yeah, he's got a good beard, that grows out pretty fast. So Lawrence, you're not going to go shirtless at Gen Con, though, right? You're going to have something on. Yeah,
I would rock it shirtless, but my sister's going to be there, and I thought that'd be just a little odd. So we're kind of working on modifying the cosplay a little bit, make it a little bit more family friendly.
Listen, you got the dad bod, or is like no dad bod?
100% have a dad bod.
Nice, dad bods are in. I have grandpa bod. That's a whole different thing.
Oh my goodness, this is taking a turn. I am so sorry.
Camera Mendy, go back to the Gooey Lawrence. Now listen, I want to tell you something. I am so excited because I think we are getting close, not counting the Goo crew, okay? Not counting the Goo crew, we are getting close to 100 of our Gooey people who've got portraits done and are making characters in the world of Zyathé that your players will get to play with. And I think it is magnificent. Wait till you see the Essenverd. There's a whole host of new folks that are going to be in there that you may not have met before. Starn Phelan is going to be in there. We're going to have Carrie back in there again because she's this Carissa Ambers, who is all about this crazy Feyari, right?
Oh yeah.
But we've got wait till you see Josh, who is actually one of the Valandian clandestine evil leaders. Yes, so Josh's character is that. So Josh, ultimately we might be able to get a whole villains thing, right? So we can have Alexander over here as Kalnavik, right? We can have Josh as this. I can't even pronounce the name. I will do it next time, but maybe we'll even show it. So it's fantastic. And Jacob has this marvelous traveling guy named Gunderson, and they're just starting to come together. And I don't know if you saw, but we had Philip and his little family. All three of them were in there, and they were in the Gooey Den, and they were really, really fun. Camera Mandy is giving me the shut the F up.
Okay, the topic of this conversation was how to run a Gooey game.
Oh, sorry.
And we have not talked about that very much. So I do want to focus the conversation back on the actual topic. There's things that I definitely want to talk about, like how often do you give Gooey reward cards? Like how do you encompass the characters on the NPC cards? Like all that kind of stuff.
Good gracious, this is long topics. Camera Mendy, set your camera for noon. This is when we will stop, right? So
you have 10 minutes.
So what did you say? Without trying to tell everybody how you start with session 0 and all this kind of stuff, right, which will probably blow people away. Let's do Gooey rewards cards, right? Because you know that I preferred them to Inspiration, and before Inspiration even, we had sort of things that we would give away fate points and hero points and those kinds of things here and there to impact the game. So tell me about that a little bit.
I give Gooey reward cards based off of if I know they.
What are they? Tell them, because somebody
we have a box right next to you.
We do have a box, but we're not going to dig through it because that's going to take.
People don't want to deal with us digging through boxes.
Okay.
Gooey reward cards are special power-ups. Some of them are extremely powerful, up to the point of like giving a permanent hit point, giving a permanent skill, which I love. Giving
hero cards.
Yeah, we'll get into the cameraman. Do you want to interview cameraman? Camera Mandy could interview herself up here.
I tell you, you know what? Actually, camera Mandy, you should walk out because you're in your. Oh, you took a picture. It's in the Gooey Den.
Yeah,
she's in her Ren Fair outfit. All right, so keep going. So
some of them are a little bit more minor, whether or not to be temporary hit points, advantage on attack, advantage on a skill check, things like that. For me, I give them out honestly based off of if I know they have a big battle coming up, I'll plus them up so that way I can throw the kitchen sink at them and I don't have to worry about wiping the party.
Yeah, so the tale that I have, which I think you know the tale, but you weren't present for this one, but it was one of the other games that I was running, is actually in chapter 4. Okay, and I'll do this real fast, but I told it to some people, but it's a great tale. So we're in chapter 4, and without me giving away spoilers, I'll be very careful. They were in the catacomb thing, the dungeon thing, doing their thing, right? The party was, and there was another group that was kind of moving around with them, right? And they were trying to find each other, and finally they came into contact, and they came into conflict. And it was a pretty scary conflict because these monsters had the ability to create sort of inability to move, other things like that. So some of the party was knocked down and unable to move, even though they weren't making death saves, and some were making death saves. And it kind of came down to sort of the big bad evil monster and the monk. Okay. And they rolled initiative, and the whole table was confident because the monk has this beautiful, dexterity. It's going to
+4, +5 dexterity.
Get the initiative, right? All that stuff, right? And lo and behold, the monk rolls a 1 on the initiative, and there was no bard present to be able to give them the reroll, none of that kind of stuff. And the monster got the jump on the monk, and the monster hit the monk 2 times, and the monk went down, right? Nice. And so this was it, right? This was the wipe, right? And I hate wiping parties, but sometimes you do, right? Sometimes you do. But I did know that sitting on the table next to the monk was the hero point.
Yep.
Excuse me, wrong. Fate point. It was the fate point. And the fate point allows you, within reason, to change something. So the table's freaking out. They don't know that the card is there, right? I can see it from where I'm looking, but he's sitting right next to me here. And the table's freaking out. They all think they're wiping. They're upset, all that kind of stuff, throwing dice at me, calling me all kinds of names, all this kind of stuff.
Oh, my dad.
Yeah, your dad. Yes, your father. He's the worst, right? Cameraman, can I say what he said on camera?
No.
Okay, I won't do it. All right. Anyway, so I knew the card was there. And the table's freaking out, and the monk player goes, "Hey, boss." And I said, "Boss, yes, what's going on?" He says, "I got this card." I said, "What's the card?" He says, "It's a fate point." And I said, "Well, what does that card say, sir?" And he says, "It says I can change something." I said, "Well, do you want to change something?" And he said, he got this big smile on his face. He says, "Yes, I do." And I said, "Well, throw that damn card out there and tell me what you want to change." And he threw it out there, and he says, "I want to change that this big bad, hit me." And I said, "Suddenly you rise to your feet. It's a miracle. Do your worst." Flurry of blows. The big bad evil guy goes down. The whole table is freaking out. Way better than inspiration.
I agree.
So we got to wrap up pretty soon. But when you're doing streaming, right? When you're doing streaming, how do you kind of bring up portraits and maps and all, just because you have 5 screens? But if somebody doesn't have 5 screens, are they still able to do some of that stuff?
Yeah, so again, I would definitely recommend if you're looking at doing a stream, check out Gooey Casey's the Roll20 for the chapter 1 and chapter 2. I think he's still working on chapter. He's got 3 up as well.
It's chapter 4 that he's working on.
Ooh, nice.
And Ben just completed for Fantasy Grounds chapter 1.
Awesome.
Which is crazy because Fantasy Grounds is off. It's so complicated. Anyway, keep going.
But essentially, with Roll20, either a mono or a dual monitor setup will do you just fine for being able to share everything. Again, for me, it's just because I'm such a visual individual. Like, I'm a piles person.
Right.
I need piles, and that's why I set it up the way that I do, especially since I'm running tech as well. So I need everything to be as streamlined as possible.
Yes.
But using Roll20, you can go over and you can run it no problem. They have a million different tools on there for showing it both to your players and to the audience. And Gooey Casey, I think he has like a YouTube channel to show people how it works.
I think Casey did some, I can't remember if it's in the Discord.
He had some streams though, too.
He's got some streams that I think he recorded so that people can see it. I just don't know where. We'll figure that out and we can tell you. When we do this.
Gooey Casey, put it in the chat.
Yeah, that's a great, if you're here, Casey, put it in there.
I don't think that Casey is here.
That dog.
Somebody wake up Casey and have him put it in the chat.
Call him on the phone.
We'll do like the stream chat down the road, but like for just people playing at their table even, like when is the opportune time to show a scene?
So I think this is very important. We actually tell people in there, show it at the appropriate time, right? And typically the appropriate time for me is either just before I start the description that I'm going to read, or I do it just after, depending on the description. What about you?
So for me, again, being a tech guy, I actually have a 65-inch TV that I have up projecting everything when I play in person.
Yes.
And so I put it up right as I read the scene, so that way everybody has something both to look at and then correlate all the information that I'm talking to you with.
Typically, the only reason I would delay to the back end of the description is if there's something that's coming, right?
Oh, yeah.
That they don't know about right at the beginning, right? And then you want to give them the thing, right? The zap, right? And portraits, right? Portraits are wonderful, right? But keeping track of, 55, 60 portraits in Carnival, right? Right, 65. So what do you do with that? How do you kind of keep those things straight?
So for me, when I'm playing digitally, again, I like it because it's just a grid layout, so I can just go over and find it. What I will do is in the adventure book or in the game, what's the one that has all the data in it?
The GM reference.
The GM reference book. I will put like a page or a handout number right next to it, so that way when I come up with a portrait, it's like, all right, switch over to this page. And then when I'm in person, again, because I run such a digital setup, I just click on it and it's up on the TV and we're good to go.
For me, what I do, and I wasn't able to do this at our offices because I just didn't have time with all that was going on, but I typically sort of arrange a little set of files. And so I'll have like nine files that sort of, so if you're going to go to this dungeon, right, now I know, or into the forest, I know this is the forest file, I know this is the
handouts all in there.
And so that way I'm not having to go through a stack of handouts, especially like when you see Chapter 4's handouts with 120 or whatever it is.
That box is heavy.
Crazy, right? Crazy. So that if a little filing system makes it a lot easier for that. And then I tend to take out portraits that I kind of know are the lead, and then I sort of put others that I think are possibles, and then I put the ones that I know they're not going to encounter, just put them to the side.
Super easy thing that you can do with I think would work out with the portraits pretty well, as well as if you have them all inside of a stack, you can put the tabs, and you can basically write the name on it and have the tabs right there, so that way you can get a really quick reference. All right, here we go, and then pull it out and use it.
Fast if you do it to everybody, and you're absolutely right. That's a good tip. That's a good tip.
So
what else, Camera Mandy?
Lawrence actually did something really cool to prep for the games because he is not a reader. He's not someone who likes to read. So, Lawrence, why don't you tell them what you did?
Yeah, so specifically, especially with a Gooey Cube game, when I'm prepping up for it, I don't have time to read. I do love audiobooks. So the adventure book specifically is written so well that you can easily Google up any text-to-speech program, plug it in, and then whenever I'm driving to work or working out, I can go through and I can play it. And I listen to it about 3 or 4 times, which isn't difficult because I think the adventure book's like, what, 50, 75 pages?
55, 60 pages, something like that. Unless it's chapter 4.
Yeah. But you can listen to it. I'll do it where like I'm driving down, and if there's like a text speech, whether it's like Mother Salvence or something like that, I'll pause it real quick. I'll practice the lines that were just gone. I'll redo it real quick, and that makes a really easy way to prep while you're on the road. The one little caveat, because I found this, I think like my 3rd session in, that if you listen to it, you do have to then go back and do a quick skim through physically, because your muscle memory needs to be set on where to find it in the physical book. And you don't get that when you listen to it. So I had one time I was like, crap, where was it? And it's because I hadn't read the book physically. I'd listened to it a million times. So that's my one tip. And then also we're announcing when you're doing the read through for audio for it, right? Is that happening today?
Yeah. So I am. Camera Mandy wants me to start doing reads, and so we're going to try to make that happen. And
it's not Camera Mandy. Everybody wants you to do the audio version of the campaign.
Yeah, I think the thing is, I've talked about voices, practicing voices in the car. The car is a great opportunity when you're driving to work or whatever you're doing and you don't have anybody else in the car. The car is such a great opportunity to practice your voices, to practice, sort of your readings of certain key things, right, that you really want to focus on, and to prepare without having to feel like you're giving up your Friday evening, right, to dig into this stuff. And I'm definitely a preparer. I recommend preparation. I think that it makes the game so much better for your players. Again, not to throw shade on those who just kind of improvise and just put an outline together and just go. But that, for me, that this is the preferable way. So, Camera Mandy, is that about it? Are we good? What are we doing? Any questions in the chat?
People are just commenting that they want you to do the reading.
Okay.
They like the programs that Lawrence pointed out. But yeah, it's time to wrap up. So
I will say I have one more tip.
Yeah, do it.
That I thought about when I was driving on over here. I've played a lot of different modules from the big companies and the small companies. You get a skeleton, and then you have to build on that. I'm going to let you know, don't be intimidated because the amount that you're going to get in a Gooey Cube module is probably going to be more than what your table is going to be able to balance out. And that's what I noticed this last session that I was playing with my characters. As far as Hanata's NPCs, I have like 7 that I focus on, that will regularly interact, but I still have this huge stable that I can pull from any time. And so don't be afraid, don't feel like you have to use every single thing in the module. Gooey Cube's giving you all the tools, and they say you choose what's best for your table.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest tips that I can give you.
It's really not possible for your characters, your player characters, or your players to really become emotionally connected to 50, 60, 70 NPCs. It's just not going to happen, right? So, and really, when you want to establish a relationship, typically between just 1 or 2.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you're spot on. I completely agree with you. Also, one of the things that I love and was a big deal for us when we were developing, as you know better than most, is that we believed that these adventures, even though many of the images are specific to the module, that they were very much reusable.
I've reused encounters and I've reused everything for 4 different campaigns.
Yes.
That I pull anytime I'm running a new campaign that maybe it's a one-shot or something like that. I'm like, all right, well, let me go to my Gooey Cube resources here every time. And they're like, oh, wow, man, did you get all this art made for it? And I'm like, yes, I love you that much. I paid for brand new art for this entire campaign.
Well, hopefully everything keeps rolling the way it's rolling. We're very excited to see you all at Gen Con. Listen, this is important now. You're going to be getting an email here very soon. Might not be next week. It might be the week after. And that email is going to ask you to RSVP to the party on Friday night, okay? And right now, it's really possible. I know, it's 1985.
Listen, my moves are timeless.
Timeless.
Okay, I'm just throwing it out there.
So we're going to have this party on Friday night, and we need you to RSVP to let us know, because we got to order food and we got to order drinks. And yes, it will have some libations there. Just be temperate, right? And we're trying to find a place that it may not be right at the convention center. You might have to Uber to it. So, but I think that's not a problem for most people. But we need you not just RSVP to tell us you're coming to the party. We also need you to tell us if you're bringing. You can certainly bring a significant other, friend, someone you have a relationship with, all that kind of stuff. But also, yes, like that, right? Significant other. He's stroking my ear. Anyway, so listen. Here's the thing. We also need your T-shirt size, because if you come to the party, you're gonna get a free T-shirt. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And so we really want you to come there. There's some other surprises too. Marvelous Harry has something that he's bringing. There's a lot to do. So anyway, that's the story of Gen Con. Please make sure that's in your mind. We will be talking about the next submission. I'm changing it up from what it was. So even if you've been wondering how come you haven't seen the email and how come the submission thing hasn't been updated, that's why. All right, Camera Mandy, is there anything else? Anything in the chat? Friends, is this good? Are you having a good time gaining information and worthwhile you're watching? Just let us know. Check the poll in the Gooey Den, and please make comments. Please give us feedback. We want this to be special and worthwhile for our friends. Okay. Anything else?
Thank you all so much.
If you do want to see Gooey L, myself, and the other Uncanny Pros, twitch.com/Uncanny Pros, PROSE. I'll throw up a little link up in the Gooey Den after this, so you can find us. You can check it out. You're welcome to come in there to both join in for the game, and then also if you have any tech questions while I'm running it, I'm happy to go over and answer them while I'm on stream.
Marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. All right, my friends, I got nothing else. Camera Mandy, we good?
We are good to go.
My
Thank you
friends,
all so much.
You are here in the Gooey Cube at Alphinius' study, right? With a dragon in the background, and Gooey Lawrence, and Camera Mandy, of course.
Just do it one more time. Point at the dragon. With the dragon in the background.
With the dragon in the background. Yes, we're doing it one more time. Aha! All right, my friends. You have a wonderful day. Thank you for sharing an hour or so with us. Again, go to the den. Tell us what we need to do better or what we can do to make this even better experience, okay? Have a wonderful day, and may all your adventures
be sticky.
Ha ha!